Like I said, these are really like informal, but they are really informative, if that makes sense, just because this is our way to kind of meet together. And it's not just about what I have to say sometimes. Like, this is a great time for you guys to get on here and speak about anything you need to share, stuff like that. And like I said, sometimes we do specific topics. Sometimes we're just more so speaking about, what's on the inside, and that's usually what matters most. So actually, I came up with this topic today after the call with my coach, which is Natalie. That's who I shared. I shared that call, or I haven't shared it yet, but it was the call that I posted on Sunday. We do Sunday night calls with them as well. So I'll post those every Sunday to give you guys the opportunity to hop on there. And if I haven't added you to that team page yet, I'm going to. It's just another place for resources and just to kind of get more of that team vibe, even though, this is our home. But I don't like to keep you guys from anything. So basically, she kind of had a call on Sunday night that really just reminded me what's important in this business. And it's literally what's in here, so much more than, what's out here. And after my post today, I just kind of came home today, sat down and wrote that. And I was like, wow, like I haven't really gone back to that time in my life in a really long time. And I think it's important for us to understand that the things that we've been through is what builds us as a person. And I always think about, like, I'm friends with the people I'm friends with typically because I've shared a struggle with them. Or, like I just moved to a brand new city a year ago and had to make brand new friends. And I was like scared out of my mind because I'm from a really small town. So every friend that I had my whole life was just someone that I basically grew up with, right? Well, when you make a new friend, it's kind of like, I don't really feel like you bond with them until you have a similar experience or a similar struggle, or you both can relate to what it was like growing up in this situation, or you can both relate to what it's like to have this job or this kind of family or this kind of struggle. So that's the point of this business. And the thing is, we're helping people get healthier. We're helping people maybe, lose weight or create a business that can change their lives. But at the core of that, we have to understand why they're in the position they're in the first place. What do we have to help them fix to lose that 20, 30, maybe 100 pounds, to where there's something else going on in there that they need help with, besides how to learn how to eat right and learn how to exercise every day. And what I'm really learning with my groups is I'm attracting girls that struggled with the exact same thing I struggled with. I love eating out. I love having a margarita and a beer with dinner, but I could not find, for the life of me, the balance with that. And I beat myself up for, ever, because I was trying. And then I do this, and then I felt like a failure. I had no belief in myself. I felt like my best days were over. So I really found that me speaking to that to them, like me speaking to those people in my posts or in my challenge groups, that's attracting people to me that are sticking with me and that are actually changing their lives because of me, because we understand each other. And that's what we want here. You know what I mean? If we've got groups or teams full of people who have no idea what the other person is like or what they might have been through in their life, they're probably not going to be like excited. They're not going to be as engaged. They're not going to want to like slay their goals as much with you because they don't typically get where you're coming from. So tonight is basically me sharing with you guys a little bit about my background, a little bit about how I got into this, what I tend to share to try to attract people, what I am afraid to share, what I've been through that makes me push even more for the future that I want. And then I want to open it up to you guys to do the same thing, because I know it's hard. I actually get my on this days all the time of when I was first a coach. And, my posts were all about the basics. Like, here's the shake I'm drinking, here's the workout I'm doing, and I'm happy. But I was never really talking about why I got to the place that I was at. It's so much more about the why and not the what. Anyone can go do these workouts and anyone can go buy Shakeology anywhere. But I truly don't believe anyone's life is going to be changed to the extent that it can be changed until they're with a coach, until they're with a team, until they're with a tribe that truly understands what they're going through. So I want to take you guys back to let's just go, oh my gosh. First of all, I've suffered from anxiety my entire life, which is the weirdest thing ever because most people would say that I'm incredibly outgoing. I've done some really fearless things in my life, but I still internally struggle a lot. And when I was a kid, I actually saw a psychiatrist for that because I had an incredibly terrifying anxiety about like tragedies, and also I couldn't leave my parents. Until I was in like the 5th and 6th grade, I was literally a con man to get out of school. Like we're talking like I locked them out of the car. I like locked them out of our house. I like punched them and beat them. I was very stubborn and very hard-headed, and I always wanted to get my way. And that is one thing that I used to beat myself up about. Now that's something I pride myself on, is that I want to get my way and I find a way to have it. Now that I'm an adult, I can control that a little bit more. So that's something that I've struggled with my whole life. And I didn't realize I was struggling with it as much as I was once I found alcohol and drugs when I was about 14 and 15 years old in high school. I didn't think it was a big deal because, you know, my friends were drinking. I was doing drugs with my boyfriend at the time, so I just thought I was like cool or whatever. And I don't want to ever like, I don't want to like alarm you guys. I didn't have an addiction or anything like that. But I don't view that as the life that I wanted to have. So but I was like, whatever, like this is life, right? So I still made great grades. I still played in sports. I always felt like I lived this like double life. Like I wanted to be this like scholar and successful, but I also have this like, I don't really know who I am. I'm just trying to find myself over here. I'm really scared of who I am, probably like for real. So I'm just going to hide over here behind this. And I never figured out like who I truly was, because I wanted to be this girl and I wanted to be this girl, and I was just always stuck somewhere in between. And in college, you know, I just kind of spiked more, but I still was keeping my grades, working hard, keeping a scholarship. I worked 2 jobs all through college, paid for every single thing that I had. And I struggled a lot with drinking all the time. You know, kind of always just feeling like I could not get my feet under me. And it made me feel very like defeated and discouraged, because I knew I had this like glimpse of a happier and healthier life, but I was always like getting pulled back in and stuck. And it almost feels like when you're close to the edge, but you just can't get yourself there, you kind of beat yourself up a little bit more, right? Because you're like, why am I not good enough? Why am I not good enough? Why am I not good enough? And I struggled with that forever. So I didn't realize how bad my anxiety was in my adult life until I kind of cut back on that lifestyle once I entered into Beachbody. And I became a coach about 2 years ago. I saw incredible results with the 21-day fix, and I was just obsessed. And I was like, sign me up. I don't know what I want to do with my life, but I just want to be a part of this business. It's incredible. And from day one, I had these huge dreams and this huge vision, but I just didn't know how to get there. And again, I would just get discouraged because I thought I was so close, yet it takes hard work and it takes growth within yourself. And I had a lot of work to do there, and I just didn't realize it, but I had a lot of work to do there. So I was still struggling incredibly badly from anxiety. Socially, you know, I was hiding it from alcohol all through school and kind of like all through my like adult life. And it started to resurface once I became a coach. Once I started reading personal development and doing a little more personal, you know, growth, I started to realize, holy crap, I have a lot going on within me and inside me, and it scared me a lot, and it made me not want to grow. It made me not want to deal with burdens and issues and regrets that I had about myself. So kind of my first thing is like, be open to growing through those hurdles. They're there, even if you don't think they're there. We all have something every single day that we can grow through. You know, now my battles aren't the same as they were maybe 2 years ago, but I still have battles today. You know, if the moment that we stop growing, we're not really like doing anything. If anything, we're just going backwards, because life's going to keep moving without us. So if we're not moving with it and we're not growing with it, we're just moving backwards. So that's kind of like the first thing to understand about your mess being your message is you're always growing through something. And even if it's something so deep and so heart-wrenching that you don't ever want to share publicly, you can still talk about what it's like to go through it and talk about what it's like to like recover from it. I actually, when I was 20 years old, was pulled over for a full field sobriety test. And I was underage, and I actually drove my friend home who had a DUI because she couldn't drive. And I was drinking on the job at my bartending job. And I got pulled over in my apartment complex in front of about 15 people who I went to high school with. Our college and high school were really close. They all were standing at the bus stop watching me do this full field sobriety test. So I was honest through the whole thing. I wasn't drunk, but I had drank. So I was honest about that and told the police officer everything that he needed to know. And he called in backup, and I got out and did the full test. And I'll never forget, hearing everyone talking about me and yelling like, "Oh my God, that's Mackenzie," and all this stuff. And I'll never forget when I had to do the breathalyzer, I was like, I'm done. Like, this is it. Like, I'm screwed. And it came up at 000. And honestly, you guys, I've never really felt in a spiritual presence like I felt in that moment. I'm not shitting you. Like, it was weird, and I will never forget it. But it was also very alarming and very like eye-opening. And I was like really reminiscing today on kind of like my past, and at the time and everything I went through, I was always brushing things off. I was always like, well, I figured it out. I got through it. I'm fine. And what I always think about is like, maybe someone doesn't understand that now because they think like, oh, it was just a period that you were in your life. But I really want us to understand that people can relate to you no matter what they're going through. If you're sharing something you went through, they're going to take something away from that to apply to maybe something they're going through. It could be something totally different. It could be something that has nothing to do with the same thing. But just the fact that you're showing people that you're going through a struggle or that you've had a struggle and you've overcome it, it's going to give them the hope, and it's going to give them the faith that they're going to be able to overcome a struggle too. So, I just recently shared about tearing my ACL and what that was like and rehabbing for that. I've never shared about that before. And I was like, mainly because I was like, I don't know if anyone that I'm really speaking to is going to understand or maybe is going through that. I don't really attract athletes or something like that. Then I was like, you know what though? Everyone can take from that. Like, it's not easy to overcome something so ailing like that. Someone can take appreciation from that. They can take gratitude from that. And, today when I shared something from 3 years ago, I often think to myself, would I have grown out of that? Would I be the same person today, 3 years later, even though my life and my circumstances are totally different? Who would I be? I wouldn't have changed just because my circumstances changed. So we have to understand that we have to be that person that stands there and tells people, no one's going to change nothing's going to change your life for you except you. Even if your circumstances change, because that just comes into like excuses. Oh, I'm a new mom. I don't have time. I'm, busy, or I don't have the money. I just heard the top coach in the company for like the longest forever, her name's Lindsay Matway, say the other night that the brokest of the brokest people will find a way if they want this bad enough. They will find a way to invest in their health and invest in a business if they want it bad enough. We never want to let them think that that's not important, because then we don't believe in them to invest. We don't believe that if they invest, they're going to see results. She sold clothes to buy a challenge pack, and now she makes millions and millions of dollars. So you got to think about it like that. You got to be that person that's there saying, here's what's possible for you, and here's why you should seek change. Because maybe it's not the same situation for them. Maybe no one understands what it's like to have felt a dependence on alcohol or felt a struggle through anxiety, but they see how I've come out on the other side. And maybe something they're going through, it's going to inspire them to come out on the other side. So I want you guys to really just think about your life and think about all the things that have happened to you in your life. I'm talking like I said, I went back to like childhood. I went into my teens. My parents went through a really, really, really nasty divorce, and I haven't opened up about that until just this year, that I didn't even realize affected me to the extent that it did until I was in such a serious relationship. I struggle like so badly with trust, not within the other person, within myself. Not that I'm going to cheat or that I'm going to, do anything on purpose, but I struggle thinking that I can give the love that someone else is giving me. And that's a really hard thing to like accept, right? You like never want to be the person that can't love someone back, right? Even though you want to so badly. I struggle with, thinking that that's going to be my reality, that, my parents were married for 22 years. My dad cheated on my mom. I was totally informed of it all during the whole thing. So I hold a lot of resentment towards my dad that I didn't really recognize until I was a little bit older. All of those things make me who I am. They make me view my life the way I view my life. They make me have the struggles that I have. And they're the reason that I'm going to relate to people. I'm sitting here right now and I'm looking at all of you and I know pieces of your stories, but I don't know that core, and I'm like, I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. I'm still working on being as vulnerable as I want to be on social media. It's something that, we have to grow through. And there's a lot of stuff that I've shared in the last 2 years of being a coach that I have been able to grow beyond, partly because I've shared it, partly because I've been open about it. I've been freeing about it. I've been vulnerable about it. And, I've been able to move past it. So a really good example, and you guys are kind of new, and Sarah, I'm not sure if you're friends with my coach Natalie on Facebook, but she just recently had her daughter was bit by her dog, and she had to put her dog down. And it was heart-wrenching. She lives here in Jacksonville. We're best friends, and I was really there through all of it. And I'll be honest, it was one of the worst 10 days of my entire life, so I can't imagine how she felt, but she just told the story, and she shared exactly what happened to her, and she shared afterward, and she shared her grief. And it's not easy to be vulnerable like that, and sometimes all we have to be open to being is just incredibly vulnerable. She didn't share those things because she knew she was going to attract a coach or sign up someone with a challenge pack. She shared those things to show people that she's not perfect, that she struggles too, to let them know they're not alone no matter what they're going through. That's part of what it means to be a coach to me. That I'm here to share with you, show you that whatever you're going through matters, and whatever you're going through is something that you can make it through. Because, we might be sitting here thinking like we're here to build a business, but really, guys, build yourself. Build yourself and your business will be built. The more you personally can grow, the more of a business you will build, because you're able to help more people. You're able to help them grow beyond who they are right now at their current state. And you're able to see a bigger vision for your life. It took me so long to leave my bartending job because I just needed to convince myself in my head that I could do anything that I set my mind to. And once I did that, I was like, okay, I can do anything I set my mind to, right? That's all that it is. It's just the belief in yourself, belief in what you're capable of, belief in what you deserve, right? I didn't necessarily ever think I was going to meet someone and feel the way I felt about someone or have the relationship that I had, because I just assumed that that's just not what I deserved, because that's not what I ever saw. I always surrounded myself with people that I knew what I would never truly love and never be vulnerable with or never be serious with, because I was terrified of being vulnerable. I was scared to grow this business and grow myself beyond who I was to create a successful business, because I was afraid that I wouldn't be the person that those people needed me to be. And now I look at it like, I want to be the person that those people need me to be. I want to be the leader that they need to grow their life to be successful. And if you have the attitude that you constantly want to grow into the person that you need to be, like, for example, like Natalie, you're brand spanking new. You are just starting a program. You've never touched down on Beachbody before in your life. But right now, your growth track is, I want to show myself that I can complete this program and see results and see what I'm capable of here. And that's exactly where I started. I completed a program and I was like, holy shit, I saw results for the first time in my life. And that, like, I will never forget that feeling, because it was the first moment where I finally realized I'm in control. What I decide to do is what I decide to do. And that's going to create, you know, my future. That creates my reality. Nothing else. It's in our control. So I hope you guys just like take from that everything that we are, like all the messy pieces and all the craziness about ourselves, that's what really truly makes you special. That's what makes someone relate to you. That's why I'm still best friends with my friend from preschool, because she and I have literally been through every single thing together in our lives, and we will be friends until we die. And that's just the honest truth, because we've never held back. You know, we've never held back with being vulnerable. And even as a coach to people, I've recently, you know, just in the last 6-7 months, I'm much more honest with people. I don't always tell people what they want to hear. I'm not going to just, you know, sweep things under the rug. I want them to grow. It's our responsibility to show up for people on social media and be honest and be real and kind of kick them in the butt. But it's also our responsibility to be real with them behind the scenes. Like, be a coach. Be a coach. Be somebody that you would need. And I always think about this, like, Mackenzie, be who you needed. Like, be the person that you needed 3, 4, 2, 1 year ago. You know, be that person. Think about it. And that's what I want you guys to do tonight. That's why I shared just, you know, random deep struggles, because I want you to take yourself back to your life and think of random deep hardships and struggles. Because you might not, I don't think about the day that I got put over, you know, and had to do a full field sobriety test every single day. But when I do think about it, I'm not proud of it, but I am proud of who it's made me. You know, it's made me somebody different. I'm not proud of the shitty relationships that I was in for, you know, 3 or 4 years, but I'm proud of the fact that I've learned from that and I've grown from that, and now I am where I am. So if you don't address those things and you're not open to growing, you won't grow into the person that you need to continue to be to build a successful business. And not just build a successful business, but help other people grow into the person they need to be, right? Like, we have to grow to help them grow. So I want to leave you guys with this little analogy, which I love. It's kind of like sports related. So you think of like the cheerleaders on the sidelines, and they're like so pretty and they work so hard and they're there and they always show up, but they have no true like say in how the game goes, right? They just cheer. They're just cheerleaders. They still work really freaking hard, and I'm not discounting cheerleaders. They still work really freaking hard. They still care a lot. They want the team to win. They have a ton of spirit. They have a ton of heart, but they actually don't have any hand in the success of the team. And then I want you to think about the coach on the sideline. They have a hard job. They see a player, they see that player struggling, and they have to be the one to help that player overcome the struggle. They have to be the one that sees what they're doing wrong and fixes it for the game, for the overall potential of the team and the overall fate of the team. But also, that coach is making a crap ton more than that cheerleader. They're way more successful than the cheerleader. Even though, you know, they both care a ton and they both want that team to be successful a ton, the coach puts in actions that are going to lead to change within the team. The cheerleader's on the sidelines and the coach is in the game, is in the middle of the game. He's in the heart of what's going on. And even though his job might seem more challenging and it might take a little bit more hard work, he has to grow a little more every single time there's, you know, something that happens, or there's a hardship within the team, or there's a loss. He has to figure out why, and he has to move forward to create a win. Even though his job is a little bit more hard, or is a little harder, he is so much more successful because he's making his team successful. So whether you have, you know, 2 people signed up, whether you don't have anyone signed up, whether it's just you, whether it's you and you want to create a team full of freaking badasses, every single name and every single soul matters. And don't cheer them on. Be a coach to them. Meet them where they are. I heard this thing with John Maxwell, and he said every single day this football coach called his players into the office and said, what can I count on you for to win the game tomorrow night? And the players, you know, at first were like, yeah, coach, like I'm going to play hard. Like I'm going to tackle and, you know, I'll be there. And then eventually the players were like, when it's the third down and there's, you know, 5 yards to the first down and we're not going to let them move, like I'm going to be there. I'm going to tackle the quarterback. I'm going to make a stop right there to keep them from going to the fourth down or the first down. They got specific, and they wanted their coach to know what they could be counted on for. So what can you ask yourself every day? What can I be counted on for? You know, for our team, for your team that you're leading, what is it that someone else can count on you for? And I almost thought like, oh my God, like I want to ask like my friends, I want to ask my family, what do you count on me for? And it's not a bad thing to ask. Like it's interesting because it's like, what do I just do without even realizing it that someone counts on me for? And then what else can I do to be counted on for? So I want to just leave it there because I want you guys to think on that. And I want you to think on, you know, the stories of your life. Natalie used this metaphor of like everything that's happened in your life is like these tree branches. And just think about this business like you're basically just shaking that tree and making it all fall. Just all fall down and just be around you and just be something that you're proud of and something that you're willing to share and be open and vulnerable about. And that is what is going to, like, I just want you guys to know, like, this is so much more than shakes and workouts. It's so much more than shakes and workouts. We're not getting people to do anything. We're not convincing people to do anything. We're inspiring people to take action. Because that's truly the only way, like, anyone's going to create change in their life. We're inspiring them to become their own motivation by first becoming our own motivation, by becoming our own inspirations. That's why we have to grow to help them grow. So that's all I got. Does anyone want to share anything? Feeling vulnerable? Anybody? Like literally it'd just be the most random story, but like a memory or something that you feel like you've grown from. Natalie, I'm going to unmute you. I muted you. So
I just want to say first, I thought that was great and that really made me think, and I'm ready to share with all of you like one of my stories too.
Okay.
So when I was in high school, like I always like struggled with my weight. I was always gaining weight. I was always losing weight. I wanted to be an athlete, and I did so many sports. I did like basketball, I did softball, I even did track, and I started to, just kind of, I suffered with depression a little bit, and I kind of, I couldn't really do sports anymore, and I started gaining weight, and I just started getting really stressed all the time. And I always started comparing myself to like other people, and which is a terrible thing to do. I just always did that when I was in high school, and I'm like, why can't I be like her? Why can't I look like her? So it's something I did. So I did, in 8th grade, I did cheerleading, and then in 9th grade, I kind of tried out for cheerleading and I didn't make it. So that kind of made me feel really, insecure, I guess. So, I've been insecure through high school. I had really bad relationships with guys. It's kind of like guys like step all over me, like use me. Just wasn't a good scenario for me at all. And then I met my boyfriend of 6 years now. He actually went to the same high school as me. We were actually in the same grade, but we didn't start dating until graduation day of high school. And his best friend and my best friend at the time kind of like set us up, and they're like, you guys would get along so well. And I'm like, no. Because I just got out of like a terrible relationship before I met him. And it was just like, this guy cheated on me. Like it was terrible. And I was like, I'm never going to find somebody who's going to treat me right. And I wasn't really looking at the time. And at first I was like, oh, I'm just going to see where it goes. But now, like, I don't know what I'd do without him. Like, he's literally my best friend. He motivates me. Like, even now, he's like, you can do it. You can do it. He knows how much, like, I want to do this. And even yesterday, he, like, walked, like, 6 miles with me. And he's, like, pushing me and helping me. So I'm like, oh my gosh. And today I'm like, I have to get home. I have to do this meeting. And he was like so supportive, and I was so happy about it. So I'm just really excited to like take on this journey with, meet new people and, create everlasting friendships. And I just kind of wanted to share that. That's all.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. That's freaking
Cool.
amazing, Natalie. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Great. Like you're just
yeah, I was like,
on my shoulders.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. That was awesome. We're so happy that you're here.
Oh, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Anybody else? I know it feels like it's like not confession, by the way, guys. Like, oh wait, Carrie, sorry, you're muted too. Go ahead.
I'll share.
Okay.
So, am I good now, everyone?
Yeah, you're not muted anymore.
Okay, so this has just all kind of taken me by storm. This literally fell into my lap last week. My husband even said to me at dinner, I can't believe that you're where you are right now, because last week this wasn't even on my plate at this time, really.
Yeah.
So I feel like it happened for a reason. And I've really, really struggled with a lot of, I mean, my life, I have a wonderful supportive family, but I've been through the trenches. I was referred for special education when I was little because I couldn't learn to read. That's why I became a teacher. I was really heavy as a child. I was called fat all the time. I was put on special diets by doctors growing up. My mom was my champion. She got me on, helped me out, learn, to eat healthy foods and things, but I always struggled with my weight. In high school, the weight kind of went away because I was so active in soccer and dance. So I felt really good about myself going off to college. I went to a really small community college, had way too much fun, put on a lot of weight, but ended up meeting my champion, which my husband. I had really terrible relationships before that, and he is just my absolute rock. He's been out to help me through tons. I'm really bad with finances, and I felt like I've disappointed him a lot in my life. And he's always been there for me to help me get through those and teach me and just be a support. My dad is terminally ill. I fought with depression my whole life. Happiest day of life, though, was my dad got to walk me down the aisle about 5 years ago. So that was really great. We didn't think he would be there. Then my husband and I decided that we wanted to start a family, and we weren't so lucky. I suffered 2 miscarriages, which was really, really hard. I put on a lot of weight after them. That's one thing I don't know that I can be vulnerable enough to share with people, though. And I've learned a lot from it. Like, looking back, I've learned how cruel people can be without being aware. When they ask people, oh, why don't you have kids? Or when are you going to have kids? Or, you and Ryan would be great parents. That's taught me a lot about, like, even if somebody's struggling with weight or relationships, we as people need to be very careful how we ask people things and what we put out there, because everybody is carrying their own burden that we might not be aware of. So recently I found happiness in my teaching job, and I felt really, really fulfilled. And then boom, this happened. And I am the kind of person where when struggle happens or when change happens, if I make my decision about something, I make it and I do it. And I feel like I'm in charge for once in my life. I feel like I have just like this really exciting sense of purpose. And ultimately, like you said before, Mackenzie, I just feel like this is my platform to help so many people. And that is what I'm truly, truly excited about doing. The people that have reached out to me, it's just crazy. And you're right, the connections, just because maybe they didn't go through a miscarriage or some of the struggles I went through, the connections that they make, they know that I've been through these things. And prior to talking to you, I would have never put that out on social media. So a lot has changed in the past week.
That's so awesome. Man, I'm gonna cry. I am so proud of you. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. That's
Thank
insane.
I feel a little lighter. I mean,
Yeah, right? Like, it's weird. It's like, it just kind of like comes off of you and you're like, okay, I'm good. That's awesome. No, and like, guys, that is so true. Is like, not everything, it does have to be public, and not everything has to be, you know, I don't want to say like insensitive, but I will say, like, you'll get to a point someday maybe where you will feel ready to maybe share something that you don't think you're ready to share right now, just because is sometimes there will be negative backlash. I've had negative backlash. I've had a lot of social media bullying. But that also means that that's kind of like when you've bridged that, you've made that leap into like realness, is when people don't always agree, is when you're just being real. So I just want to thank you guys for being real tonight and just being like real people, because I don't know, I like almost cried a little bit. It's just crazy to like think about what's really behind a person, and like what makes someone who they are. And that's what I love about this business. I don't want to just talk to someone about the benefits of Shakeology and the workouts. I want to get to know who they truly are and like why being alive is so important to them. So, we're all doing a really, really special thing here. And I really appreciate you guys getting real with me tonight. Is that everybody? Is that everything? I don't have any more. I'll start rambling and going. Are you muted, Sarah? Go ahead.
Okay. So I know this is kind of like off the subject for with what the other two girls said, but
That's okay.
And I know you know this, but if people give you the excuses of not having enough money, tell them that it'll work out. Because like I had told Mackenzie before, during like we were getting ready for the wedding, but how long have I been doing this? Since
March, I think.
Yeah, okay, March. So I just got married last week. It's been a week today. So just paying for things, it gets so expensive. And Tim and I didn't really have the extra $200 for me to sign up for Beachbody, but I was really struggling with my weight and not wanting to go to my wedding dress fittings because I knew my dress was going to be too small. Because growing up through middle school and high school and my first year of college, I had always ran track. I was always a track athlete, and all year round I was training and weightlifting, so I never struggled with weight at all. I had been around people that did, but I never did it. So it was a new thing to me. So getting ready for the wedding, and we got married at the beach, I was really struggling with not wanting to buy clothes because none of my clothes fit. I didn't want to go to my wedding dress fittings, and we didn't have the extra money, but we pulled it together and got the money, and I've joined this business and surrounded myself with positive women and really just kind of changed my lifestyle. So money is never an issue.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that, because I remember you messaging me and you're like, you and your husband, I think, had just maybe done a workout together, and he was like, I am so glad that we did this. And it's so real, so true though.
Yeah.
And guys, I didn't know Sarah. She saw me on Instagram, and I saw her seeing me, and I reached out to her. Or did you reach out to me first? I don't know.
I think I messaged.
You messaged me, and then we talked a little bit. But that's just goes to show too, the consistency. And she didn't know me, and I'm so happy that she reached out to me. But it's the same goes for me. I talked to my coach for a reason too. So think about that. Understand that that's who you get to be for somebody else, and that's really special. And I'm really so happy that you shared that, because at the time I didn't know she was going through such a financial struggle. But I remember after she'd done been with me for a little while and done a few workouts, and she shared that with me, and it really hit home for me to realize that she put that much trust in, that investment, and to see what it's helped her do with herself so far is incredible. And I know she's just scratching the surface. So thanks, Sarah. I love you. All right, guys. That's it. That's all I got. I'll let you go. I don't want to keep you on here too long, but I really loved this tonight, and I hope you guys did too. So Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.